Hi, frequent flower subscribers. So this month of December, we are here at my home and we're gonna arrange together. I've got some tea, I've got some flowers. It's a little late for me to be recording this at night, but that's okay. I'm just gonna enjoy the creative process with you guys. So this month you are receiving Hypericum berries. You're gonna get a little bit of evergreen. You're going to get some green huck, which we have accented in gold, and some bells of Ireland. So I'm gonna go over with you how to do a basic arrangement in just a simple glass vase. If you have the DIY floral grid, you could certainly use it, or we're just gonna go over the basics today on how to lace your stems to make the best arrangement that you can in a vase that's not going to shift or move and look just like a professional did it. So we're starting with a clean glass of water. I've already put my flower food inside. And keep in mind, you may not use the entire packet of flower food in a vase like this. You could just use a portion of it, follow the directions depending on the size of your vase. And then every couple of days, you're gonna wanna trim your stems and change out that water, and you can always add a little more flower food. If you need more flower food, don't hesitate to contact us at the shop. We're happy to give you some. So we're gonna start with our greenery. We've got a little bit of evergreen. This is called Carolina Sapphire. It is one of my favorites. It definitely is sturdy as far as evergreen. Sometimes things are a little drapey, but it also has some movement to it, a little bit of drape that still makes it pretty. We want to remove any of the foliage that is gonna be below the water line. That foliage is what is going to encourage bacteria to grow inside your vase and water, and that definitely shortens the life of your flowers. So keeping bacteria out is what we are trying to accomplish to make our flowers last longer. Once you have removed that foliage, you can go ahead and give it a trim, and we can start placing our stems into our vase. As we place into the vase, we want to go at an angle. And your next placement, again, at the opposite angle so that your stems are crossing. Crossing your stems like that are gonna help create a grid that are gonna keep your flowers in place and make them stay just where you want them to be. So we're gonna start with all of our greenery. So this is our evergreen. And then we have our huck that has been accented in gold. And you may have received smaller branches, you may have received larger branches. This is a pretty large one. We're gonna break it up a little bit. So I'm gonna actually snip this into 3 or 4 pieces. So I'm just kind of cutting off those longer laterals. I definitely recommend having a grocery sack or something nearby that you can kind of put your waste into as you go. We're gonna give these a nice clean cut. And I sometimes measure against my vase height-wise before I give a cut. And same thing, I'm gonna go in at the angles. I'm gonna place one as maybe my center point. And keep creating that grid and locking those stems together. You're welcome to save a little bit of foliage for the end too. If you feel like you have any holes or you need to reposition something, you could certainly add more of the foliage at the end. Next, I'm gonna go in with my bells of Ireland. So these are a very interesting flower. They are phototropic, so they will actually bend towards the light. So right now you can see how he has this kind of unique curve. And if we had a light source above him, he would start to bend up and straighten up. So if they're in a dark room, placed in somewhere, away from a window, they're gonna start to bend down towards the ground. Tulips work in a similar fashion as these do. So you want to make sure that you put them somewhere where they're gonna get a little bit of light. You don't want them in direct sunlight of a window, but that's definitely gonna help them make them stand up a little taller. I don't mind the curve, we're gonna work with it. All the ones we have are a little bit different tonight. And then it's an option too. They always kind of remind me of celery. They have these little green leaves at the end. If you don't like that look, you can certainly just pluck them off. I will warn you, when handling bells of Ireland, inside their little individual blooms, there are small little spikes. So when you're handling the blooms, just be careful. Those little spikes can be kind of mean. Just be aware that they're there. Again, we can remove any of these petals or foliage that's going to be below the water line. And place our flowers at that angle again. I like to work my way around the vase just to get the shape that I'm looking for. These guys are really whimsical. I wouldn't stress over too much of exactly their placement. They're just fun and unique. If you stress over too much the way they bend, if you want them to do something different, they're just not going to. You just want to work with them the way they are. That's kind of the best thing about working with nature. I've got 4 stems here. I'm 1 stem short. You guys will have 5 stems. So if I had a 5th stem, I think I would go right in the center straight up as I'm kind of working around my edges. And then next up we have our hypericum berry. So hypericum is actually, common name would be St. John's wort. Not a very flattering name. They're a very fun filler. They come in lots of different colors. We use them often, and if we're using white, it can give you a certain romantic look for wedding work. These red are perfectly for holiday colors, along with our green bells of Ireland and our gold foliage. I am going to remove all the foliage off of these stems. Lots of times the berries are gonna last longer than the foliages are. They're gonna be the leaves are gonna be the first to look bad and like they're dying. So by removing the foliage, this is going to give you a look that's gonna last a lot longer. Again, give them a nice clean snip, and you can start to place them just evenly distributed throughout your vase. I'm kind of placing these a little lower in the vase just to give another height to some of the foliages. And I'm evenly distributing 4 kind of around the outside, and then I'm gonna place 1 in the middle. So if you were working with a 10 stem bouquet, you could do something similar. If you've got the 15 or 20 stem bouquet, you can certainly add a little bit more, or you could make multiple arrangements. So by creating that grid, it allows our flowers to stay in place. So even though I'm moving and rocking this vase, the flowers they have movement, but they're not shifting from the spot that I wanted them to be originally. The last thing I'm gonna do, just to add a little bit of holiday fun to our arrangements, I just have some inexpensive ornaments. These are like the ones that you buy in the big tube for $10. I'm going to remove the plastic cap at the top. And then these are called hyacinth stakes. We use these in the flower shop, but they're very similar to maybe a barbecue skewer, the wood skewers, or even chopsticks if you have those laying around your house. I'm going to place them onto my stake and then into my arrangement. And this is where, if you wanted to, you could cut your stakes to different heights as well. I'm just gonna break mine to kind of give you some variation in the height. I'm just gonna add 3 to my arrangement, but it just gives you a different idea of adding just another element of kind of Christmas fun to your arrangement. I hope you guys had fun arranging with your flowers this month. If you have any questions at all, feel free to leave us a comment or give us a call at the shop. You can usually find us on Facebook or any of our social media as well. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday and you get to enjoy this time designing, being creative, finding time for you, and enjoying your family. Happy holidays.